welcome back to my channel and welcome to another meal prep with me video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Blake and I just started a series on my channel called Monthly Meal Prep Videos. I watch Adeline Zook, I believe is her name. I will link her down below. She has inspired me to get on board and start prepping and just trying to be more on top of snack time or meal time or whatever. So for now, I have started a once a month video that I'm going to be doing a freezer meal prep or snack prep or any of those things. I actually decided to do 5 recipes in this video. I'm not sure if I will get them all done in one day. That is the goal typically, to try and prep all in a day so that you know, you have all the dishes done in one day, and so you're not prepping throughout the week, your house isn't getting behind. You know the deal. Not to mention I've got 2 littles, so I don't have a lot of time to be in the kitchen cooking the day away. So if you do enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up because it really supports my channel. Let's get to cooking. Briley's down for her nap right now. I don't know why I'm using this as a pointer. Brayden is also down for his nap right now as well, so I don't have a lot of time and I need to get going.
Hey guys, so just a heads up, I didn't get to 5 recipes. I only got to 4, but I still call that a feat. And guys, I also didn't do this in one day, so if you don't get it all done in a day, that's fine. Just keep going. Starting with the first recipe, we are making a crock-pot oatmeal. It's pretty simple actually. I do follow the recipe on the back. I just used the Bob's Red Mill steel cut oats, and then on the back you can see the slow cooker instructions is just 2 cups of water with 1 cup of the oats. And then it does say to add salt. We don't really add a lot of salt to our food, so we didn't do that part. And I also double the recipe. Sometimes I've tripled it, honestly. Like, we make a lot of this, especially in the winter time. It's an easy go-to. The kids love oatmeal. Ramsey loves it. It's easy for him to take to work. You just pop it in the microwave to heat it up with some milk. It's delicious. And then you cook it on high for 45 minutes or low for an hour and a half. If you double it or triple it, it will take longer. All right, while that cooks, I am going to start prepping for my breakfast burritos that we make. We have chickens. I know a lot of people don't have chickens, but if you find yourself having a lot of extra eggs, which is what we have, I decided to make some freezer breakfast burritos. So here I am, I'm just getting the bacon out. I go ahead and cook the bacon and the sausage. We do both meats. We like to switch it up. In this video, actually, I didn't include that we add some cooked onions and peppers, so that's really good. If there's anything you guys really like in your breakfast burritos, like some people really like hash browns in them, go ahead and add it in. That would totally work. You just cook everything and then you literally put it in the burrito, wrap it up, and freeze it. I will show you guys step by step what I do. So again, here I am. I'm just getting the bacon put on a sheet. I was trying so hard to fit it all on one sheet, but just didn't work. So here we've got another sheet. I'm also going to add the sausage to this sheet, save a dish. And then once all that is loaded up, I pop them into the oven. I do put both sheets into the oven, but I pop them into the oven. I think it's like 15 minutes. We put it in the oven at 375, and you just kind of cook it how you want it. If you like chewier bacon, don't cook it as long. If you like more crispy bacon, cook it longer. Here I am just breaking all the eggs into a massive bowl. We do try to use as much as we can of these, but I do try not to use too much. I'm also showing you here the difference between a chicken and a duck egg. For fun fact, duck eggs are a lot bigger. So you have more egg white, you also have more egg yolk, so you get more out of a duck egg than you do chicken, but our ducks lay so much, so we get so many duck eggs. So there you go, a lot of eggs, you guys. I know it looks like so much, but honestly, like, I ended up running out and eating more. That's how many burritos they make. And you guys, these are huge burritos. Like, they fill you up. I just make sure all the egg yolks are nice and scrambled, and then I throw them onto a hot pan. I throw some butter in there just so that they don't stick, and then I just pour in a little bit of the eggs at a time. Oh, but before I show you doing that, make sure you flip your bacon. You want to make sure they're crispy on both sides. I think I actually poured out some of this grease. It was pretty thick bacon and pretty greasy. I mean, you guys can see how much grease is on there. I don't normally have that much grease when we cook bacon in the oven, so I believe I cut it out, but I think this day, from what I remember, I went ahead and dumped some of the grease out just to, I don't know, it just was grossing me out. All right, look at that beautiful bacon. See, there's not nearly as much grease. I mean, there's still a ton, but there's not nearly as much. The top rack was done, but now the bottom one needed to be moved up. And then make sure you put your meat on a paper towel, and then also cover that paper towel, or cover that bacon that was just on the paper towel with more paper towels. Can I say paper towels one more time? Guys, I can't stress enough. You want to get as much grease out as you can. It doesn't ruin the bacon. At least I don't think it does. So if you're a bacon grease connoisseur, then I apologize, but look at me. See, I still test it. It's still delicious and yummy and it doesn't ruin it in my opinion. So like I was saying earlier, I add a comfortable amount of butter to the pan. I really don't want it to stick, and I also think it flavors it a little bit. So I pour some of the eggs in, and then I cook eggs slow. I personally feel like the slower, the better. So these finally are starting to cook on the bottom after a little bit. The way I do cook the eggs for the burritos is I undercook them just a little bit. Like, I would eat them totally how they are. I do like a little undercooked scrambled eggs. Everyone is different. Some people like them well overcooked. Some people don't care. But I just don't overcook them for the burritos, because when you go and reheat it, I mean, you're probably gonna pop them into a microwave of sorts, and that's gonna cook it some more. So if you leave them a little watery, mushy, I don't know what you wanna call it, undercooked, I just find that the eggs are much, much better in the long run. So I am doing batch cooking of the eggs here. Once the first batch is done, I just pour the eggs into a big, huge bowl, and then I pour out more of the scrambled eggs and continue the process until all the eggs are cooked up. So my goal here is to just get all the ingredients that I want in the burritos into their own little bowl, and then I set up like a little prepping station of sorts to roll the burritos and then get them in the freezer, which you guys will see in a little bit. I do want to add that between each round of eggs, I do add a little bit more butter. I just noticed that it does help with the sticking. I actually normally use my cast iron for this, so it must have been dirty if I wasn't using it this day. It's just a lot bigger and I can fit more eggs into it at a time. It's also another reason why I use so much butter. But after I put the butter in, I make sure it melts nicely. Sometimes when you let butter cook on there, it gives it a little caramely flavor. As you can see, the sausage has been draining on its own paper towel, just like the bacon was. So while those eggs are cooking, you can see the big bowl of eggs in the background. But while that next batch of eggs are cooking, I'm just chopping up all the sausage and the bacon, again, getting them into their own bowl for my little prep station. I have done this in multiple days before, where I make all the ingredients one day and then I prep it all the next day, and that works totally fine too. If you don't have time to do this all, this is a very time consuming process because it does make so many burritos and there's just, you know, ingredients everywhere. Now that the sausage is cut, I am going to go ahead and cut the bacon. I don't chop it up too much. I just cut like little slivers, like you can see off of them. I think it's small enough, but I do like to taste bacon when it's in there. So after that, I do go ahead and shred the cheddar cheese. Guys, be heavy on the cheese in these. It's just delicious. These aren't the healthiest anyways. I mean, they're not unhealthy, but they're not like, you know, you're trying to lose weight eating them. And the cheese just is so delicious. And we do have a Cuisinart. If you have one, it just makes shredding so much faster. So if you have a Cuisinart, do it. Look at that, guys. Look how, like, that was what? A whole half a block of cheese that's now shredded all quickly. I would still be hand shredding that if that was the case. Oop, coffee break. All right, guys. all my ingredients are done. So here's my little prep station. I've got my eggs, my sausage, my cheese. Oop, Tucker got one. Bacon is in the background because I make all the sausage burritos and then I make all the bacon burritos, and then I separate them and I put them in their own freezer bag labeled with what meat is in them, so that way if you're feeling more sausage or if you're feeling more like bacon, you get what you want. So I really have no rhyme or reason how I load these. In this video I am doing egg, and then I'm doing sausage, and then I'm doing cheese. Like I said, be a little heavy on the cheese. I do fold the sides in, roll, tuck, fold the sides in again, and then roll. And that's kind of how I do it. And you can see there's my size comparison. It's the size of my hand, you guys. They're massive. I've shared these with Ramsey before, like that's how big they can get. So once it's folded, again, fold from the sides, fold, tuck, fold from the sides, fold. It sounds so confusing when you say it, but you really get the hang of it after a little bit. All right, guys, here is a slow motion. You fold the sides at an angle and then you fold it over, and then you kind of like squeeze the eggs and the cheese and the meats together. That's what I mean by tuck. And then you pull the sides in again and cover them over that first fold. So it kind of holds that in, and then you flip it around again and voila. As you freeze it, it'll hold all together. You're also gonna wrap these individually at the end. It just makes them so they don't stick together in the freezer. And guys, it really works. All right, see, and then I did run out of eggs and we still had bacon to do. So like I said, we have an endless supply of eggs. So here we are just cracking more eggs for me to cook up. There we go, cooking them up. And they are all cooked, so we're doing it again. I will say it's a lot easier to use cooled eggs than it is hot eggs. These were very hot, I remember, but it worked. So we got 7 bacon breakfast burritos and then 10 of the sausage burritos. So now that those are made, I go and you guys, I so highly suggest getting your kids or your significant other to help you with this. It goes so much faster, but we go and we eat, then wrap each burrito individually. And you do want to kind of, it's just plastic wrap. You do want to kind of pull it tight when you do it. It just helps keep everything wrapped together. It's worth it, I promise you. And we do use plastic wrap because at least when, you know, you're de-thawing it or whatever, if you need to pop it in the microwave really quick, you can do that. Whereas if you used foil, you can't put that in the microwave. But you can put foil in the oven, so I guess that would be another way you could do it. All right, they're all packaged. And then, like I said, I write on what they are on the bag, and then I try to load the bag, but I don't try to stuff it too much. So I'm not trying to waste space, but at the same time, I want it to zipper. So we went ahead and did 2 bags for the sausage, and I believe it ended up being 2 bags for the bacon as well. And then once they are all sealed, throw those into the freezer and you're done. And you've got so many. That was 17 burritos and they're massive. I can't say that enough. So by the time I was done cooking those burritos, the oatmeal had been cooking for a while. As you can see, it's a little hardened in the background. It's not like super mushy oatmeal. I did let it cool a little bit, but you can still see it's holding a lot of heat. This is totally fine because when you reheat it, you can add some milk to it and it brings it back somehow and makes it taste so fresh and just delicious and creamy and yummy. So I'm just filling up these mason jars. They're the perfect 1 serving size for Ramsey to take to work, or even if it's just for me or the kids can split one of them. And it's just, I don't know why, it's just the perfect size. Moving on to our next recipe, I am making banana blueberry oat muffins. I did find this recipe on Pinterest and I find it absolutely delicious. So what you're gonna need for this recipe is 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of oats, half a cup of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, 3/4 cup of milk, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a cup of mashed bananas, and 6 ounces of blueberries. Then you just put all the dry ingredients together, mix it a little bit, put all the wet ingredients together, mix it, add the two together. I'll have all these recipes either written down below or tagged, or I'll have the link to where you can find them. I like to give credit where credit is due when they're not my recipe. So again, check below in the description and you'll find either the recipe or the link for the recipe. Once the batter is all mixed, then I go ahead and I add in the blueberries, and then I mix those by hand. I do like to make sure they are nice and mixed in. And then once the blueberries are mixed in, I grab an ice cream scoop. It's just kind of the best measuring for muffins, although you'll see in a little bit. I did have to take a little bit out. I was way over scooping in the beginning. It had been a while since I had made them, so please don't judge me. I've also used a ladle for this, and that works very well, but you'll just have to scoop it a couple more times. So here's me taking a little bit out. You don't want it too high because then they're gonna be like super massive. And then these are for the kids after all, so. And then I do make sure I clean up the pan a little bit or it's gonna burn on it and it's just not gonna be pretty when it comes out. So you put these into the oven, which was at 350 degrees, and you cook them for 20 to 25 minutes. Oh, and also you guys, I highly recommend you grease your pans very well. I didn't grease them that well, so they stuck a little. While that second batch is baking, I go ahead and make my fourth and final recipe of the night. These are homemade Perfect bars. I don't know if you guys have ever had a Perfect bar before. They've got a bunch of different flavors. I've actually only had their peanut butter and chocolate one, and it was really good. And then I was scrolling through Pinterest one day and I found this recipe called Homemade Perfect Bars for Later. And then underneath it says gluten-free, refined sugar-free, and dairy-free. But there's not a lot in it. So basically what's in this is 1 cup of natural creamy peanut butter, 1/4 cup of honey, 1/3 a cup plus 3 tablespoons of vanilla protein powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 tablespoon of milk of choice, and then optional, a 1/2 teaspoon of superfood powder, spirulina, wheatgrass powder, maca powder, or any other superfood powder of choice. I don't add anything else, although I do add some mini dark chocolate chips. In this recipe, I just covered the top a little bit, but I do find that I like them when they're mixed into the bars much more. So after you've mixed that all in a bowl, I did add a little bit extra powder into it because it should be more of like a hard cookie batter consistency and not very sticky, and it was kind of sticky in the beginning. As you can see, I can lift it out and it's not sticking to anything. It doesn't stick to my hands. It's almost like a Play-Doh consistency. So you just get that out and then you really just work it into the corners, into the edges. You want to get it as flat as possible, as level as possible, and as even as possible. I also find that if you fold down the plastic wrap, you can get the edges a little bit flatter and straighter. Once that's there, I just kind of sprinkle the chocolate on top. I did use a lot more chocolate than I normally use here because it kind of spilled out on me, but I would say it's around, what, a tablespoon, maybe 2 that I typically use inside the bar, because it's really only supposed to be a little treat here and there. Once those are put on, you put them into the freezer, and guys, that's one of the easiest bar recipes ever. The bars which have frozen, and you can see why you want to get it as even as possible, because you're going to come out and have this like block of peanut butter essentially. The more even it is, the easier it is to work with. So you get 10 bars out of it. And then you just wrap them individually so you can just grab them and go when you want them. If you need to eat them when you're on the way somewhere, or if you are nursing, that's very good for you. Just grab it, it gives you so much protein. I do put it in a Tupperware just to keep it a little fresher. However, they don't last very long in our freezer, so I really don't need it. But after you separate them, I do put it back in the freezer. It does recommend storing it in there. But that is going to be it, you guys, for my Cook With Me video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up because it really supports my channel. And don't forget to hit that red subscribe button so that you don't miss many more Momtoberfest videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section below, guys. I will respond to almost everyone. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Bye, guys.